Good day, sir. It's always good to see you.
Good morning, good afternoon, almost afternoon.
Yeah, I guess in Kentucky, right?
It's almost 10 minutes from. We're getting there.
Yeah, when I was, because you know where I used to work was a very international, certainly a nationwide uh, company, and I would get into a meeting and I just out of curiosity, like, where are you calling in from, by the way? So yeah, out of force I have it, I would just ask
Hmm.
everybody. I ask everybody.
Yeah, it's always this. It's respectful, and then you say, "Well, good morning." We have phone calls with our compatriots in India, and it's always good evening or good afternoon because sometimes they start a bit later and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I remember when you and I used to work together at Caterpillar Tractor, which we can say it honestly.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I would collaborate with the Indian team, which would be like 3 a.m. my time. So,
Hmm.
yeah, that was glad to do it though. But yeah, but today, Ben, I'm glad you and I get to talk about this topic, and we might as well tell everybody before they like click off, like, what the hell are they talking? We're going to talk about the point of view between the 8-year-old you and the 80-year-old you. And I'm number one, I wanted to have you on because you're a lot smarter than me. And but number two, but what like because we can see it from different age points of view. Like I'm well into my 60s, and you're like what, late 30s?
I just hit 40 this summer.
Ah, I'm not laughing
Yeah.
out loud, but
No, everybody else is.
no, actually, yeah. So because people ask me now, looking back, that I wasn't impressed with my 30s. Actually, my 30s kind of sucked because that's I think when I got divorced. But my 40s was a lot of work. 50s is a riot. So brace yourself, it's
Mm.
coming.
It's like is 50s the new 20s?
I don't know if it's any of that. Probably not that,
Okay.
but
I'm just,
but
I mean, probably with a lot more aches and pains.
well, you see, we just talked about, your son's at a certain age that they're 10, 10 years older, so there's
Hmm.
more independent. You'll find out you actually learned some stuff and you can apply it, and you're still young enough to apply it. So wait for it,
Mm.
man. It's coming.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Let's not rush that shit.
Yeah, see, but that's good. We're already talking about like from the 60-year-old perspective. But today, like I mentioned in the intro, that people, if they heard it, that I heard this point of view, and a lot of stuff you hear on Instagram is, let's face it, garbage. But but this one is like the only two people you need to satisfy in life. And I'm like, who? Like my mom, my teachers. They're like, no, the 8-year-old you and the 80-year-old you, because it's definite different perspectives.
Makes sense. I can see how that. I mean, I haven't experienced 80 yet, but definitely eight.
Well, yeah, but that's good though, and we'll talk why, because well, I guess we'll talk now because like now we've got the 8-year-old perspective, because the 8-year-old is like, they've got the wonder, they got the imagination, they've got the play, and the carefree. Let's face it, crap, but but they get excited, and like would little you be excited about who you are now? Uh, and see, like you got the look on your face when I read it. I'm like, probably not, because
I don't know, maybe. I mean, I didn't grow up to be a professional baseball player like I had hoped at 8 years old, but that's okay.
that's a good point. What was I thinking? Oh, I was thinking because let's face it, it was a different point in time. I was thinking military. And back then you hear the stories of like Audie Murphy
Hmm.
uh, and the heroes of World War II, and I was like, I want to do that. And as soon as I got old enough to inquire, my parents were like, "You're not doing that." So, okay, but
Understood.
but I mean, I guess, but they might be proud because are you still doing things that kind of spark joy? And I know you are.
I really hope so, honestly. I
Well,
think
we joke about it, but I mean, because you're in a very uh, a line of work that can allow you to be creative, and you need to be curious to be successful.
mhm. And solve problems and it kind of I think creativity is not something that's ever been my strong suit personally, but creative and solving problems is always something that's fun and interesting. No, I'm
Well,
not I'm
and
not creating
understanding because
artwork. Creativity is more than artwork, to be clear, and can be more practical than making art.
what it's funny
No offense
because
to
I
the
was
art
at a
community.
meeting, I think last November, and I was at a round table with a bunch of like my peers, and my manager's manager sitting right next to me, and there was some kind of joking thing about we were looking at something, and it was like about a creator, a content creator, and I looked at my skip level manager, is what they call him. I was like, man, I would like to be that. And he's like, what do you call your podcast? Like, oh yeah, that's right. That's what we're that's what we're doing. So you might have the same kind of thing. You might be more creative than you think, or give yourself credit for.
Ideally,
Well, let's face it. To get to where you are now, and I see you as a successful individual, Ben, you got to be kind of creative.
and make shit up
Things happen.
sometimes. Yeah,
You
I mean,
make shit
it's
up. You
you gotta
adapt
be
to
on your
change.
toes
It's
when
but
when when you when you hold the stick. You got to be ready
yeah.
for anything.
There you go. And just so the audience knows, Ben's always was like, if we've been working on a complex issue, like when we used to work together, we looked for somebody to keep the control, keep it organized, keep it together. And that's where Ben would came to be known as Ben always has the stick. He's got the control stick. We're going to be okay. And that's
I'm
why we're
glad we
talking today, Ben.
finally. I'm glad we finally let that cat out of the bag. I feel like it's just been holding the stick, and that could be a bit.
Well, let's be
No,
honest. We
you
were
see.
probably that's probably how it started. There was a
Oh,
different stick you
absolutely.
were holding.
What you guys thought?
But I mean, I think, because that's also because now we're looking back and like, if you're not that person, I think is what the point. And you can correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but the little kids like that kind of dream big without limits. So honoring that version of yourself means more than just remembering like what you loved, like you talked about being a baseball player, but protecting that joy from being worn down by, like by time or by expectations or by, a fear of what could go wrong if you don't.
That's a good point. It's more than just the memory of it. It's everything else that
Yeah,
goes with it.
to keep the spark alive. Because even the
Yeah,
conversation we had before getting on here, I can tell you still got the spark, Ben.
I hope so. I think it's there. It's I
So
think
you're
having
thinking about it, aren't you?
oh, absolutely. Now I'm just on this train, so I'm looking forward as we progress through this discussion.
Well, let's flip up to the 80-year-old dude. Well, let's say dude or person, because I'm happy, Ben, because lately there's been a trend on the Mitch Wonder podcast analytics where more of a female audience is joining us. I love to see
Sweet.
it. But the 80-year-old has got now he's got the wisdom, and of course at 80 he's got probably a little more peace than you and I have right now.
Hmm.
Because there's always like, I don't know about you, because we're talking about, I think I got a little more free time on my hands lately, but my second intuition is always like, shouldn't I be doing something? So I get no peace, and I'm always concerned about the legacy we're leaving in life, but are you focused on things that until now the 80-year-old person's looking down, not down on you, but just looking at
Looking back retrospectively,
yeah.
yeah.
And are you focused on
Looking
things
down,
that
jeez.
actually matter? Like things that matter in the long run that he's learned or she has learned, and like things that matter in the long run, like, what's your purpose? What have you impacted? And what are your relationships like?
That's I don't know. I mean, I think the big one for me would be the relationship and purpose with my wife and son. Honestly, like the two closest people
Exactly.
for me. And so then my wife said that when she's 80, because she's 80, 16 days before me. Just want to make sure everybody knows that she's older. I married up, and in age and
Wow.
otherwise.
Wow.
I hope she hears this one. Uh, and oh no, also for him, the he'll be he'll be 50 at that point. But in that time, there will be a good relationship. There will continue to develop as a close parental bond.
Yeah, I've become very happy of my two sons, my relationship with my youngest one, and I'll be honest, like, a lot of times it's on him, and I don't know where he got it from, but he's very like today, like he's making a long road trip, and he called me. It's like that's nice. Didn't have to, but we're talking, uh, but also like as it's this is the one that kind of like I already mentioned I have trouble with. I want to make sure I leave some type of legacy, not just like he was hard working, he paid the bills, lights were always kept on, we always had food, but uh, like if you have a story worth telling, or is it just the
Mhm.
long things? What's worse is I think is if you have a long list of things you meant to do, like the someday kind of thing, and it's been you've just been carrying it.
No, that's fair. That's a good point. I mean, uh, the regret. I think there's honestly there's probably time for regret can also help you move forward. Like I'm not going to do
Yeah, at
that
our
again.
age, well, because you're a couple
Our
decades apart.
age. Let's be our age is broad spectrum. Let's put that one out there.
Well, that's why I wanted. I'll be honest with you. Like you mentioned, you just turned 40. I'm 63, but that's why I want to do the perspective, like because the biggest. I'm also again speaking of analytics for the show, the biggest demographic is your age group.
Oh
So
man.
it's I know it's not mine, but mine's second place.
Hey.
But but it's great though because you like we talked about beforehand. Well, we just mentioned a little while ago coming into your 50s, and that's I just based on my experience, a really fun decade,
Mhm.
and you can get a lot done. But like you're saying that the regret either at your age or mine. See, we're clear now. Uh,
There you go.
can fire you up. It's like if like I say, I'm sitting around thinking, shouldn't I be doing something? What is that something I should be doing?
Something for you. That's, I mean, I think at a certain point, it's something for you that makes sense. You got to have you talk about the peace, having peace to having the opportunity to be peaceful, to not have to worry.
Yeah,
You have that luxury then with with wisdom, um, with the knowledge gained with age, you can be afforded the luxury if you see it, take it. So you can find, oh man, I got to get up and do all this shit today. I wouldn't call that
and I
a
agree.
luxury necessarily,
Yeah.
or peace, nor peace.
Well, for me, and maybe you feel the same way. I do get glimpses of that peace, especially like after a long day, like especially where I used to work. It's like I cannot believe all the stuff I did today. Yeah, and then I'll sit down with the classic, maybe a little finger of bourbon at the end of the day, and like, maybe two. But and hats off, by the way, to Kentucky. Thank you, Ben. But
Mm. I try hard.
but I get okay, this is nice, but then tomorrow's another day, and it's like here we go. By 6:15 a.m., literally, I'm running, up and down the steps of my condo, just trying to get everything done or going before I clock
Mm.
in at 7 a.m. But yeah, there's glimpses, but I think long term it's going to take a lot more. I still have a lot more I want and need to do.
Yep. And what better time?
Well, see, but
Because
that's like
that
what
will be
from
your regret, right? Like as you hit 80, if there are things you wanted to do and you didn't, it becomes a lot harder to do them,
well, I think that's the
like
part
physically.
from the 80-year-old. Yeah, it does a little bit, believe it or not. I'm learning that at 63. I told you about how well that was Texas heat, but I told you about what I did last week, and that like damn near killed me. But the 80-year-old you, and this is where I think, that I hope, first of all, people, of course, from my age group and certainly yours, and maybe even, the sector that we get from the 18 to and 29 group. Believe me, I've been looking at, you can tell, I've been looking at analytics lately. But the 80-year-old you doesn't care how busy, like I just mentioned, you were or how perfect it all
Mhm.
looked. They care whether you are like were, you care deeply about, like you mentioned, your son and your wife that you love deeply, or that you stood for something, or you showed up for the people and things that mattered. That's what I like to think. Hopefully that my kids take away from this, that I didn't have to show up, but we did. And so living for that future vision of yourself kind of means, you don't have to, you kind of trade the small wins for a life that feels like a big win. And so from you at 40, from me at 60 plus, yeah. But it can feel different.
I agree. Um, I think it's something that's always, I feel like for me at least, is in the back of my head. I'd like to think it will continue to remain in the back of my head. Like, what does all this mean? In the end, what's the long game? The long game is the social and emotional health at 80, ideally physical health as well,
Yeah.
to be able to enjoy 80 and be able to emotionally think about it in the past and not just live in regret. Um, but every regret I would like to think is some kind of lesson. Like, man, I shouldn't have done that shit. I regret drinking too much last night. That was a mistake to have all those whiskeys. Won't do that again. And anytime that
Yeah.
starts to sink in, I shouldn't drink that much whiskey after several rounds of doing that.
Well, I had that thought yesterday morning. Wait, yeah, it was. Yeah, today's Saturday. But
Hmm.
because on Thursday, I just had so much just crap going on, car breaking down. I had to, do this with the I was online with tech support for 4 hours. Like I was gonna work out that day. I was like, what the hell with it? I'm just gonna drink beer and watch TV. And you know what I did, Ben? I had one more beer than I normally would. It's like to me, that was
Getting
like,
wild.
ooh, I know. It was, ah. That's the thought I had on Friday morning. It's like, oh, you animal, you went one beer heavy. Ooh,
At your house in front of your TV. Get
I know.
really crazy.
Yeah,
That's
not behind the wheel. Trust me,
no, no.
because I've been, and from that point of view, Ben, I don't know about you, and I don't know if you care about craft beer, but I really enjoy it. But I can pay $1.33 for a beer at home, or $8 plus if I will go out for one. Like,
Because it's on draft. It's fresh. Like kind of, and maybe I'm sure there are better palettes out there, man. But I know there's a
yeah,
difference. But
I know there's
but
it, and
at
I
home,
taste it. I do.
is that difference $6.67?
Yeah,
Probably
and
not.
let's say because I've complained about it before, so I'll do it again. But I used to like to convince myself to take the time on a Saturday when I've been working 40, 50 hours during the week to go on go down to after recording. I'll go down to a local brewer and have two beers and mix, render, and prepare. Upload this for this next episode. Two beers plus a tip, and not a big tip, $20. Like gotta stop doing that.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know what I did to account for that, Ben? I put it in my budget.
Ah. Oh man. Hey man,
No.
that's listen, talk about regret and wisdom. Man, I remember when I was 8, I'd get a little bit of cash in my pockets from doing a chore or
Oh yeah,
a birthday or
yeah,
the tooth fairy. And that shit would burn through immediately. I'd go buy the next G.I. Joe or
yeah,
whatever I could get. And occasionally I'd save up for like a couple of those things but then it was gone. And
yeah. You
now
would
and
save up to buy a Christmas present, like you saw that coming.
yeah. And now I'd like to think at 80, like those little things matter and don't burn it all up. So
Well,
trying to be
it's
mindful
tough.
of that. I've had $10 in my wallet for the past week. I've not used it. And I just want to say it's pretty great.
I know what you mean. I got 35 in a money clip that hasn't gone anywhere for months, Ben. I know we
Man.
use credit card, but the real fulfillment that they're talking about, like the battle between 8 and 8, not the battle, but the decision, it's like it comes from, trying. It's hard to please both, obviously,
Mhm.
but if you just want to keep it simple, if the little kid would give you like a high five or for a fist bump, and the older person would sit back with just a smile on his face and like yeah, understanding, chances are you did it right. You're getting it right. So right now, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to put myself into perspective. 8-year-old me, I think 8-year-old me, just to be like lack of humility, would be proud of what we're doing now. The podcast is fun, it's
Mhm.
creative, and it allows me to talk to my friends still again. And 80-year-old be like that connection, keeping the connection with my friends and my family's been on a few of these. uh he'd be okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with that. This specifically.
Yeah. And obviously with your special guest.
And
Um
indeed, and again, from a lack of humility standpoint, but
a little too on the
but
nose.
but I get, but if you want to make it harder, like how do you keep, both sides? If I keep chasing the dream while still building something that lasts, and that's what we talked about earlier. That can be like that fear of chasing the dream while you're trying to build something that lasts. Could I screw it up? So I just stop chasing the dream. I just keep the engine running.
Nah, I think that the I think there's always chasing the dream. I think the 80-year-old uh would say that the dream is continually being carved out. And so look back like, this is where we want to do. Ideally, this is where we want to be at 80. So and so whether you're chasing the dream, whatever that is, trying to climb the ladder, whatever that looks like, I think that the uh the perspective of what's my train of thought here, man. I had 1,000 things in my head to say, and
It's okay.
I think
It
I've lost
happens.
it.
But I can let me ask you like this. These are cruel questions, but I'm gonna I'll be honest with you. But
Huh.
is there one thing right now? What's one thing your 8-year-old self would call that you're doing would call cool as hell? And are you still
Hmm.
doing it?
Hmm. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. 8-year-old me would think about the fact that I coach baseball and really like it. Um, so because
Well,
that
he
was
probably
always
would.
baseball was part of my life. It's still part of what I do. It was a big thing for me when I was a youth, and It's still a
Why
big
did
deal.
you
And
and why did you and I never have a catch, Ben? I would love to do that.
we never brought our gloves to work.
See, there you go. And now
Nor
8 year
do
old,
we have these deep conversations. And now I regret that.
see, an 80-year-old's
And
like, because we worked a lot of Saturdays, you and I. It's like, bring your
we
damn
worked
gloves.
a. It was also cold as hell in Pittsburgh.
It was
We worked a
cold.
lot of
It
Saturdays in
was
the middle of
cold.
winter. I'm not trying to play baseball when it's 10 degrees outside. Just 10 Fahrenheit, more specifically.
And also, let's be honest, Ben, with on weekends that you and I were the managers in charge, we could have played ball inside for all they know.
We could have, but we were working. Somebody had to hold the stick. Somebody
Yeah, there you go.
had to hold the base of the stick and keep everything had to be the foundation.
Can you imagine? Because you knew that assembly line that we built that back there, that main one. After
Hmm.
everybody left for the day, we keep the lights on and just right in that center aisle, just have a catch.
Just go ahead and catch. I could critique your throwing methods and mechanics, and to make you a better thrower, you could have critiqued
Again, presuming,
all mine,
presuming. I might
presuming.
have. Oh, and don't forget, we also had a quality control guy that was a semi-pro baseball pitcher. He would have stayed too.
Who was this?
Big Dave.
What?
Yeah, he was in a minor league with the Pirates.
No idea.
Yeah, he was a relief pitcher. Big boy.
Huh. I
I
had no
think I did
clue.
play catch with him before. He could bring it, dude.
Yeah.
He could bring. Well, let me ask you another question. Is there something that your 80-year-old self would look down on you now and say you're wasting your time?
Hmm. I don't know. I'd like to think fretting about things that are in the world. Reality is maybe what the world's going to be. I think that I think there's a lot going on in the world every day, and we're more aware of it today than we ever were back when you were my age.
Do you like it
Um,
or not?
and there was still the same stuff going on. It's just being aware. And so I think that
Yeah,
we're aware more. So and I try to take the tact of it's things are going to be what they're going to be outside of what I can control, and it's some of it might suck, but I can sit in misery, or I can try to make the most of what I can control and what's around me. And I think that's
I
something to
think
always be have perspective on.
exactly. I think 80-year-old self would be disappointed when he saw me like, and I am of myself when I realize I've just wasted 10 minutes scrolling through Instagram or some crap like that.
There's
It's
that.
a
You know how to get rid of that issue?
how.
Just delete the app.
Ooh, hey, woo! What you just
Just I mean, not this app where we listen to these podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, to be clear. But
yeah. Well, I did. I took that step like 5 years ago. I just stopped Facebook, just stop. But I
mhm,
kept it because occasionally my kids, that's a good place to message. And even when my son
mhm,
was deployed across the pond, let's say, I could
mhm,
get messages from Facebook. So there was that. But I think if you want to sum it up, like the 8-year-old version of you is the guy, and you can see it. I can totally see it when I saw this. He's got scraped knees and elbows, and probably like a from the handlebar, my bike that I made up myself, and the
mhm.
handlebars fell off. Uh, big dreams. I don't recall having big dreams when I was 8 years old, but
No,
not a doubt that you're a hero in your own stories, how they want to put it. But like the world's still wide open, I guess. And to me, I guess it was because I never thought of like you were just saying, all these issues are coming rushing at us because and they're more available because they're more available. But as an 8-year-old me, I was like, I don't know anything except I'm going to go climb that tree. And
there was
later
no
on,
strategic thinking.
I'm going to ride my bike and I'm going to join the army when I'm older. And that's about it. But the 80-year-old person he's not shaking his head and he's not giving up. Let's be honest, he or she, again, he's sitting there with, quiet, maybe with a half smile. And this is the point, I think, of the whole thing is the 80-year-old still looking at you like you still got time. Don't
Hmm.
waste it. Make it count. Make me proud. That's what I keep in my mind, Ben. I hate that I wrote this because now it's stuck in my damn head. But that's what I'm looking at.
No, I think that's a good way to put it, because I think perspective matters. It's easy to get trapped in everything we're doing now because everything seems so now. Um, and the world we live in and the qualms we have. But in the end, if I'm so upset about everything now and I'm a dick to somebody or what have you, I'd like to think 80-year-old me would say that you're kind of a dick
There you
to
go.
this
Exactly.
in this thing. and then or that thing, or you could have done this differently. I think that's what regret helps us with is to, hey, next time do this instead. Be retrospective, right? But
Don't be that guy. And
at
you'll
the
see,
same
like,
time,
and you as you
like,
grow and you keep doing it, it becomes you now.
yeah, and I think 80-year-old me would say you've got time. To your point, don't waste it on frivolous stuff,
See?
and don't be a dick is a really good motto to add. A really good little thing to if I had a
Yeah.
carrot
Or
thing,
don't be that
don't
dick.
yeah, don't be that dick. Don't be a dick, and that'll make it count, and that'll be something that I think 80-year-old me or
There you go.
whomever should be proud of.
There you go.
So in the
That's all I
end,
was hoping.
don't be a
Yeah.
dick. Be nice.
Well, what the oh, Patrick Swayze. Uh Always be nice until it's time to not be nice.
Yeah, yeah. But that should be your first go is to be not be nice.
You see, but that now that brings to mind Patrick Swayze, the great good looking dancer score.
Hmm.
He's dead. He's dead. He didn't know he was gonna get dead so quick. So you just mentioned you turned 40. I'm again 60 plus. So I've got
So
in my mind
specifically,
easy
also,
20 years. You've
did
got
everybody know
40 though,
we have
Ben.
this? And so does everybody know that you're exactly 23 years older than me? No, not a day older or a day less. Exactly.
Oh yeah, so everybody knows. Yeah, we were born on the same. Did you ever do that, Ben? By the way, I don't know if anybody else does it, but I try to think of like when I was born, backtrack at 9 months, and where were my parents? Where were they? What were they
Oh yeah,
doing?
definitively. Yeah, yeah. I
So for
think
us, like our parents apparently enjoyed Halloween.
it was very
Uh,
happy Halloween.
it's fall. It's getting cold in the upper Midwest. We might as well
Yeah,
get some
yeah.
snuggle bunnies going on. Let's
The,
create.
the foliage is out.
Oh, no pun intended.
Oh man, yeah. Or it's as deer do the rut.
Oh God, now you made it
I kind
gross.
of
Well
dig
done,
in
Ben. Well done.
that. You're welcome.
I'm hoping I can do let's get off track, but stay off track. I started a hunting episode and I want to do because fall is not too far away and
Oh, it's
hunting
really
in
close.
Texas is different. I
Hmm.
learned, Ben, that there's nighttime wild boar hunting in Texas. How rad would
Hmm.
that be?
It's a thing. I mean, it's a whole thing. Uh,
Wild boars is good. Now let's stop real quick and say, what would an 8-year-old think of that idea? And what would the 80-year-old think of that idea?
I think 8-year-old me would be. I don't know about
Fist
just
bump
generally.
for sure.
No,
Fist
no,
bump.
I think 8-year-old me would be like. I think it would be kind of. I don't know. I just didn't do it growing up, but now I do. And 8-year-old me
Well,
would say you had some healthier food in your body because it came from nature. It was as fair a trade and as organic as it can be.
and I
Um,
really miss like when you used to go on trips and you would give me your veggies for the week and then you couldn't get out to pick them up when we lived in Pittsburgh.
yeah, yeah,
Remember that? That
yeah, I
was
do.
great.
I do.
You go
And
surprise and you pick up your surprise box. What do you got for the week? And you open it up and you say to yourself, what the fuck am I going to do with rutabagas? But you learn.
but yeah, or these parsnips. I don't know what to do with them, especially when
Yeah.
yeah, I have time to learn because I didn't take the time, which 8-year-old me would probably regret. But there's still time,
Oh,
especially with the
that's
advent
what it is,
of.
Ben.
There's still time with the advent of it. There are tools that help us with that. There are tools that can help us to learn more quickly, to
Yeah.
evolve, as long as they don't evolve faster than us. What I'm saying by that is AI. Don't let it evolve
And
faster than we do.
it's funny you mentioned that, Ben, because I've got one. Maybe you and I will do that one, but it's it's about AI, and I'll tell you afterwards. And why we shouldn't be worried about that.
Just be mindful of it. That's all. Don't give it the keys to the Dukes.
Hopefully
We're
like
good. We're
people
good
like
there.
they listen about the 8 and 80 perspectives today and maybe today if they're listening to it as we're recording it on a Saturday like a lot of people are seem to be a preponderance to do like I do a lot, maybe it just changes at least your day or maybe it changes your perspective long term, but hopefully everybody learns something today. You know what else they can learn today, Ben? They can learn that the new Mitch merch store is alive and kicking. We validated
Hmm.
before, so if you want to check out your Mitch merch, there's definitely a special item on there or two. So if it's on MitchWonders.com, just go to the shop page, drop down, hit the button, you're in, and you're shopping around.
There's a lot of good stuff. There are at least six. There are 9 items right now that
Hey,
I've
there's
counted
also a
this
link
far.
to the book. The book's on there too.
Yes, yes, there's that.
So yeah, it's again, it's like 10 rules to get you back in the saddle. If life has kicked you in the scones and you feel like you've been knocked out of the saddle, there's 10 ways that Mitch has probably been through the same, and you can relive it with him. But maybe it'll help. It'll help you know that there's other people out there like us going through the same thing.
I
So
agree.
Ben, I will let you get on with your day in Kentucky. I know it's a busy day for you. I really appreciate you carving out some time for old Mitch.
Appreciate it, Mitch. Hook 'em or whatever they say, right?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Did you just do? Oh boy,
I
you did
did. I
horns
did. You're
down.
welcome.
Oh
I
yeah,
did.
you did horns down. This game
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
buddy.
That's all I
We'll see you
know.
next time,
Also,
man.
all right, go Hokies.